I'm going to start off by apologizing for your pain.
Ngiyabonga.
It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
We've made so many mistakes just as a generation and even generations before, but Tina. And I have currently put it down as we have too much freedom.
Yeah.
Other people can say other things, but our ability to get into an intimate relationship and get out is literally a Friday night and a Saturday morning. Next thing,
Yeah, umfethu.
we're too free.
Yeah,
Back in the day, it was
agreed.
more difficult. I could only touch you if our families have met.
Yeah.
I could only leave you if our families both agree.
Agree. True.
Today, njoba ngisho, Friday night, chwala,
is all it takes.
Saturday
for a baby to
morning,
exist.
it was nice knowing you. I don't even remember your name. In a few weeks, you're like, listen, we've got a situation. We have too much freedom, and we need to have a conversation about that.
Agreed.
All of us. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I have a thing about single moms, and I didn't want you to answer the question, but I will say this. I hope you are a single mother because the father's not present every day. And I do hope that he's involved in the children's lives in some way, financially, uyababona, etc. And if that's the case, I generally don't call those women single
I
mothers.
agree with it.
But that's not important. What's important is I hope he's involved in some way, regardless of what he said.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that he was honest. It was late, but he was honest. Many other guys, you'll rack your brain trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, what was it?
Kanti does like, actually,
Faith.
I was lying, I was pretending because I'm sorry I misused the stuff you told
Information.
me in
100.
confidence.
Agreed.
But if he's involved in the boys' lives in some way, and not just him, his whole family, because I tell women this as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not just about the dad. He could be stagwa, useless, but he's got a family, and maybe his father can help, his mom can help. So if he or his family are involved, I appreciate that. And if not, I hope we can find a solution.
Okay. I
Shout out to
appreciate
your
that.
family and their support to you as well.
100.
That's your pain, and I'm sorry that my telling my story triggered that.
Yeah, no, it's
And I can only you're not the only one.
Yeah.
The amount of vile DMs, comments from women I got.
DMs.
I have an ability, luckily, with my experience, to see when people are projecting and to see when people are miseducated and they're attacking me because abaz. Abang, it's their projection.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck you. It's because guys like you just fuck girls. They're like, oh, you're not talking about me. That did something that you're taking out on me.
Those are the triggers I was
100%.
telling you about. Yeah,
I'm lucky that I can pick that up. Many other people cannot.
Wouldn't and internalize. Yeah.
So I do apologize for triggering you.
Look, sorry, ngiyabonga Penuel. I don't think it's okay ukuthi uphoqwe uthuke and whatnot because everyone has their own journey really. Umuntu nomuntu unendlela yakhe. And also, mina it's okay mfethu. Ngajwayela lento le ukuthi it's life. I think omama laba mhlambe onengane nabo.
Yeah.
Ngoba kukhona obaba aba comment. As much as you got DMs, there's a lot of males who commented to indirectly bash your baby mamas because of their own projections.
100%.
So ibona ke mhlambe ungaxolisa kubona. Mina ngi-right. In relation to the family, but I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. In relation to the family, I like the way you think, nalindlela okhuluma ngayo Penuel, because it's good. It's for a whole family of the father's side to be involved in the raising of the children. Unfortunately, for my kids, abeko, they all passed away, and also it just speaks to why I think single parenthood is so prominent in the Black community. You know our history, but we'll talk about
No problem.
that.
But thank you for sharing. I mean, as much as Young Tetisa, which I appreciate, comes from a place of love. You're also sharing your story. And I'm happy for us to close on this because we've got like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of videos
Yeah.
online and I don't expect anyone to have ever seen them.
Okay.
That's the other thing I learned. People will see my Newsroom Africa clip and it's a short clip.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
People will see a Twitter post and it's the first time you're ever hearing and you're like, no, there's something missing in this story.
Yeah, true.
Other people that have been watching will tell you, but this guy's got like 15 videos that he's made over the years. It's just you've never seen them, and that's okay. But it's also a reminder for me why you must keep telling your story. Yeah. There's someone who's bumping into it for the very first time. And all the questions they're asking, you can then refer, and other people can then,
Yeah, you're right.
I've got 7 children. You are lucky. I'm going to give a shout out to him. My son is here supporting me.
The cuteness.
He's my firstborn son.
Oh, okay.
I've got 7 children from 5 mothers.
Okay.
Right? And people are allowed to judge me. I don't mind.
Okay.
With that being said, 3 of the mothers we co-parent healthily.
Okay.
I've tried to emphasize that when people are emotional, all of that, they ignore it.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
co-parent healthily with 3 mothers. I have a problem with 2 mothers.
Yeah.
Right? The problem that we have. And of the 2 mothers, the one mother, it's been an 11-year fight. The other one, it's only been 1 year. So I also, people won't hear that when they're emotional and they're angry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about 5. Yeah, and you're like, okay, you missed it and it's okay.
Yeah, it's hard
3
thinking.
moms, we're co-parenting healthily. These kids, Unkunzi and his sister Africa, are visiting me over the festive.
Okay.
They're based in Brazil.
Okay,
We're co-parenting healthily with the mom.
lovely.
2 other mothers, co-parenting healthily as well. I'll start with the one of 1 year.
Okay.
We've had a fight in the past regarding, because we've got 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
My son, who was being raised by ugogo,
Yeah.
I didn't approve of it because mina no mama besihlala eGoli. Why ingane ihlala nogogo?
Okay.
Not
Okay,
important.
fair.
We
Yeah,
went for mediation,
yeah,
etc.
yeah.
That sorted itself out. I
Oh,
don't mind.
Okay, that's interesting.
The issue started last year where it was meant to be the first time I take my 2 kids to visit me in Joburg.
Yes.
And then she pulled a stunt. And I was like, I've got experience in this. I'm going straight to the courts. We went to the courts. She lied, etc. We're here now. She unfortunately becomes collateral damage because I've got 11 years experience with another
Yeah.
lady. And I'm like, I don't want to go through another 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
The bigger problem is this mom of 11 years.
Okay.
I'm speaking on her behalf and I apologize. She can say he's talking shit, he's lying. I'm sorry.
Does she have access to platforms?
I
be
think
able to
everyone-
defend
I
herself?
think everyone has access to platforms. It's up to them whether they want to or not. And
Use it, okay.
I can't force them to be like, yo, I dare her to say. She doesn't have to.
Yeah, no, she mustn't.
But in the same
She
breath-
mustn't.
I will not tell my story.
Oh, yeah,
Just
true.
because.
That's
As much
fair,
as I get
Penuel.
attacked, we'd like to hear the moms. That's okay. I'd also like to hear the moms.
Okay.
But this is not me saying they must go and speak
Yeah.
on platforms. They
Yeah.
can take me to court.
Yeah, we
They are
singabe
free to do that. They can
sokuxoxisana
keep it
phambi
private.
presiding officer, yeah.
I really don't mind, by the way. I think that lady had intentions with me
Yeah.
that she never vocalized. And when things didn't work out, this is an assumption. This is what I'm saying. I'm speaking
It's
on
not
her
it's not an
behalf.
assumption that she doesn't need to vocalize the intention by virtue of borrowing you her womb. She obviously sees a future with you.
So this is where the videos come in. Because in the videos I explained that myself and her had meetings around conception.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
sat like this.
Yeah.
Zola, ngicela sibe nengane. This is my situation. She made me, I already had a child, and we agreed verbally, which she can lie about. She
Yeah,
can be like,
yeah,
"Penuel,
true.
uyadakwa, ayikho
Yeah,
lento ayishoyo."
yeah.
That has always been my story.
It's worked out.
Even when our families sat together.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
At the time I told her I can't be in a relationship. This is my situation. She's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, Inkinga, but I'd like to have a child with you. This is why I'm saying I can only assume she had intentions because once the baby came, the story changed. And I look like a boy who hambe qamba manga to
Yeah,
girls,
yeah.
right?
And you're not.
We sat with the families. One of the things her mom said, and her mom would lie in an affidavit later saying our families never sat,
Ooh.
of which they did,
Oh,
right? This is
that's
not me
unfortunate.
blasting them. I'm just trying to explain that this thing gets so messy. This is why I'm saying black family legacies. This is not money. It's
Yeah,
not
it's got nothing to do with monetary value,
It's got nothing
liquidity,
to vote
wealth.
ANC or vote
Yeah,
DA.
wealth, nothing.
These are things where you have to try and figure out
Inhliziyo zabantu.
what's going
Yeah,
on
yeah.
spiritually, genetically, that we're here, where Umama's like, there was no family meeting. I'm like, but my mom, my brother, my siblings, they were there though. Hi, bo mama. The mom said in that meeting, when a Penuel, do you think a woman would have your child engafuni ukuthi mhlampe nishade or whatever? I'm like, but mama, I spoke to her. She looked down, sis. I was like,
Got the, yeah.
so anyways, I don't want to go into the details because it's very detailed. Like I
Yeah,
said, it's
yeah.
an 11-year fight.
Look, I just want to put this one-liner there, Uguti. A lot of the times, women make the mistakes of thinking they can change a man,
100%.
and they think once ingani figure, he'll be so softened.
100%.
Izoshintsha lento esiyikhulumayo, and that's a very bad mistake to make.
100%. We need to warn young girls of those
Yeah,
things as
don't
well.
think like that. They don't change.
I've got
Abashintshe
I've got
laba.
3 daughters. I need to really nail that into their heads as well.
Lovely.
I was on the part where the family sat and
Yeah.
we'd split and she'd go on and get married.
Oh,
I was very happy for her. Whenever I'd say I was happy for her, she'd get angry. So I was like, okay.
Nami you can get happy for me.
She,
Happy for me. Why do I shut
she has a child with the husband.
Okay, so she's moved on.
They married for 2 years, they get divorced.
Oh, okay.
He's now being denied access to his child.
Ooh.
Unlike me, because I've been doing a lot of DIY, He's probably spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands, back and forth fighting to see his child. While this lady lies and what. He has this comfort of he can speak to me and be like, I was with this lady watching her lie about you. And these things. Because when he came into her life, he was taking care of my child. When they divorced, he'd speak to me. And he'd be like, well, ubungonli. I'm like, no, but na proof. He's like, no ways. This woman said, when ubungonli. I'm like, oh, snap. That's crazy. That's when I learned that even things like my e-wallet, don't send them. Send an EFT so that it's very easy to show I was sending money here. These become things that we're forced to do now. Keeping track record, that's lame.
Normal living.
The other thing is go shopping with your kids so that mom can say anything. You're like, oh, Baba bought me this t-shirt. I was with him in the shop. So because mothers will get money, not tell the kids where the money came from. And the kids are like, my mom did everything. You're like, this is not a true story.
That's why I've
got a lot of traumas.
It is. I'm sorry you've been going through some tough things also.
Please don't
as a human being.
I've got too much experience. I have too much patience. So much love for moms and dads because I know how emotional this is. As much as I'm in it, I have an ability to get out. Watching people throw things at me. Fuck you, Hambi Ofa. She must never show you the kids. Okala, these women deserve. I get all of it. It's like, I know why you're hurt. I'm going to get myself out and just watch and be like, I'm sorry. Even though I'm also in pain.
And you're a human being.
With this mom in particular, we went from the Randburg Magistrates Court, the Children's Court. We went to the Family Advocate in Joburg, opposite the High Court. We've been to Pretoria, the High Court, which has the Children's Court in it. We've been to the Family Advocate in Pretoria. We've been to Newcastle.
With the 11 year.
This is the 11-year story.
Newcastle,
We've been to the Newcastle
High Court.
Family Advocate. Newcastle doesn't have, I don't know if it has a High Court, but there's a Magistrates Court. The Children's Court is next to it. There might be a High Court. I'm not sure. But the Family Advocate, I think, is next to the Magistrates Court. She's moved. She's lied. She's, I've been patient. At the Randburg Magistrates Court, there was a time when she didn't show up 4 times. And at some point, I asked the magistrate, should we not maybe issue a warrant of arrest for her to appear, not to be arrested?
To appear,
No, the best thing to do is maybe take this to the High Court. They're kicking the can down. At the High Court, they're like, look, maybe get a lawyer. I'll give her kudos that she's got patience, maybe support from her family. These may be the reasons why she doesn't want to speak on platforms. I'm not sure, but she's free to. She can also take me to a court and say, this guy is defaming me. She's free to be like, he's lying on a platform. I've never posted her face. I've never mentioned her name. I'm considerate of all these things because it's not about her. It's about the child that I'm trying to kind of situation.
11 years
Yes. The last time I saw them was at the Family Advocate in 2024. So it's still an ongoing. Hopefully, but there's these bookmarks. I'm hoping. In whatever damage we've caused, both of us in this. That is like, but I remember my father fighting.
I remember
maybe
seeing him in court.
Videos. He didn't just disappear. He's like, but where? I didn't see any effort. Maybe I can judge you. You shouldn't have spoken about the story online. You shouldn't have done this. He can judge me. But I'll be like, I did what I thought was best for you, considering.
At that time.
I've been to the High Court, by the way, as well, in
Penuel,
Joburg.
Imagine.
Regarding specifically these kids in Brazil. They're in Brazil thanks to a court order, not because I consented. I consented to them living in China, not in Brazil. And the judge was very fair, in my opinion. He listened to me. I was representing myself. She had a two-people lawyer team because she wasn't in the country
Senior
at the time.
And junior.
And he said, look, I fully hear everything you're saying. My only issue is you don't live with any of your other kids. So just on fairness, and because they've been living with their mom for the last 4 years, even though they lived with you for 8 years, let's just keep that consistency. But I'm going to make sure that you have access to your kids. You can see them anytime. You can speak to them. And I was like, I'm losing this case. But it's not because the judge is saying you don't deserve to live with the kids. He's trying to be like, nah, so I was like, I could appeal but I was like, for the betterment of the kids, as you saw my son, I see my kids, we're happy, we're healthy. So you lose certain battles to win the war sometimes, and you must take it. Because I don't have that resentment of I don't have that. I want my kids to be okay. I'm giving you this entire thing, and it's a percentage summary. Number one, because I didn't want to disturb the process you were giving, because it's important, not just for me, for everyone to know.
Yeah.
There is the family advocate. There is the children's court. There is the high court. You may need money. You may need to go for counseling.
Yes,
You know, I've sat with an amazing lady, Utandi Domingo.
Okay.
And part of the stuff we spoke about was, and one of the things I said was, we can go to the courts.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got 3 parenting plans with the mom who are 11 years
11
that
years.
she's violated.
That's been made a court order.
There have been 3 sets of police that refused to arrest her. I think Babe Sabanji just
Yeah,
jumped a
'cause
wrongful
it's a
arrest,
mom,
etc. And also, I wouldn't want her to be arrested. That's not why I'm doing it. I just
taken
want to
away
see
from
my
it.
son.
Yeah.
Angifuna ahlale ejele. How does that benefit me?
Yeah. Or
Because
your son.
I'm not angry. I don't want her to suffer. I just want to see my son. And I'd like
Yeah.
my son, I'd like her to not have that type of power.
Yeah.
If he could be sent to boarding school, that would be best. Then I
Yes.
see him at school.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
And you are unable to get a court order that, that forces her hand.
To do what?
She's to take the child to boarding school.
Oh,
to
we
allow
can
you
look into
to-
that maybe. Because
Yeah?
this is also something I've been thinking about just
Okay.
recently.
Okay.
People are in pain.
A lot.
Men, women. And their pain manifests in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that my life is beyond being stuck in business failure,
Yeah.
relationship failure, being attacked on social media. I don't mind because I'm constantly working on myself.
Okay.
But I recognize that other people, for whatever reason, are still in pain. This lady was in pain, similar situation. The father left her during pregnancy. And she said it took her 6 months. She prayed on it. You spoke about your mom. And I'm like, what takes you 6 months to bounce back? Another woman takes 6 years.
Years. Yes.
Another woman takes 16 years.
Forever.
And in that time, I could get a court order, but she's still in pain. And we don't know what that does to my child.
Yeah.
I take the kid on every alternate weekend and on holidays, but she's still angry.
Yeah.
And in some ways, my child is still not developing okay because the mom is not okay. And when I said what I said, which was, I think it's 3-4 months old now, that I'm not going to maintain my kids, I'm speaking 11 years versus 3 months. And in my 3 months, everyone's going crazy. Oh, what do you mean you won't maintain? I'm like, but when I was crying,
Ngesikhathi maintain
who the
abeni
fuck
kuphi?
cares? Now that I'm saying I won't maintain, let's attack
Send
Penuel.
la.
I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a reminder of how society works.
I don't also think the attacks were necessarily for you, Penuel. I think it was the men that are agreeing and inserting their own personal stories
That is
that
also
don't
true.
have the history you are detailing right now.
Yeah.
That just come with roughness. Khuluma ngecaliber yamadoda ababulala abantu besifazane.
Correct.
We're talking about men when that guy who went and killed a child and his woman, abati, vele she went and cheated. They accepted it. Labo, same men came into your story and they inserted themselves and their opinions nowhere close to the same spirit at which you've just explained.
Correct.
And then they were triggering the women who are also watching.
Correct.
And that's the trick about public platforms. Eh? It's not an
agree.
easy thing, yeah. No, Ngiyakuza, and I appreciate you detailing that story, especially now. Because I came at you ngoswazinyana and legal processes, and you brought me into your confidence. I appreciate that. Ngimfisele ngazuthi umama ngathi ukwehlisa
Both of
manje.
them.
Yeah.
My biggest wish,
Abehlisa umoya.
not even seeing my kids, I'll say this.
Now
it's not even seeing my
Penuel.
kids.
Yeah. Abazali, the Children's Act states you are charged with the obligation to act in the best interest of the child. Even if it pains you. Even if it means letting them go to Brazil and you don't see them every day because you know, wow, the education abazobuya nayo, for example. I'm not doing education comparison. You are charged with the duty to act in the best interest of the child. So you must look at yourself as a father, as a mother. I am now in this pandemic because as abantu abamnyama, and we'll talk about it one day, see in a pandemic of single parenthood. We are not indoctrinated with the desire to marry. Asishadi, siyajola, siyahlangana. We meet each other and we don't think about the consequences of it in the long run. It's okay. Don't waste too much time on regrets. Hey, fikile le ngane. Act in the best interest of the child. Also, remember phela ukuthi if wena wenza into ebuhlungu kwingane yakho, leyo nto leyo izokwehlela kuyona futhi leyo ngane leyo. You are the one who's taking steps and actions that are detrimental to this child because you caught in your emotions, and at a later stage your child has suffered from trauma. And also, while the other party you harming was crying, sengizofaka iBhayibheli lithi isono sobaba sehlela kwingane yakhe. Inyembezi is not something that's free. So umama wengane zakho omama beingane zakho mebekukhalisile, they must know those tears are not free. Just because you didn't marry them, those are not free tears. You also someone's child. Nabo le ngane abayiphethe abayidedele phela, abayidedele. Those children did not ask for the heartache. They didn't ask for the lack of marriage. Abayidedele ingane. Kube izona ezishoyo ukuthi angifuni ubaba this year. Angabe umuntu wesifazane kube uyena oshoyo. Take it easy. Kwehlisa umoya. Why? Because we are obligated to act in the best interest of the children. And that's it. That's what I understand. That's what I know.
My biggest wish for the two women is I wish them just healing and being okay.
Me too.
Because I know if that happens, you don't need courts. You don't need family
100%.
sit-downs.
No lawyer's going to make money from your personal problem
At all.
when there is healing.
So
100%.
And this is not me saying I hurt them. It's just whatever pain. If they feel it's me, that's okay.
That's okay.
I just hope they heal. Because even if I never see my children, it would be nice for children to be raised by a mama that's healed.
Yes.
As well.
And not angry. Yes. But you must see your children. Because let me tell you, yabo baby boy lo muhle lo engiqeda ukumbona namhlanje, and the ones and your babies that I saw you spent Christmas with. Those kids, it won't matter ukuthi umama uyena ongafuni ubaba unama parenting plans are for. When they look through social media and they see you with your other kids, it won't matter. All that's going to matter is the pain they're going to feel in their hearts. How my dad gets to spend time with his other son. So in fact, just keep on fighting for that. For that,
the other thing I wanted to say is this. I am the worst example of fathers that are fighting for their kids.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Okay.
Number one, I have a lot of kids with different women. So already I become this thing that, that's okay. No, I'll explain. Again, it's in the videos. I explain how. So you've got two kids with a father.
Yeah.
You meet another man. He marries you.
Okay,
you
fair.
have another two kids. He passes on.
Yes.
Then now all of a sudden you've got three baby daddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. All right.
I'm the worst example for men, and I believe it's wrong that men were projecting their own things in my comments.
Yeah.
I believe it was wrong for the women.
Yes.
But in the same spirit I have of understanding these women, we need people to understand the men. There are men that are crying in various ways, and they bleed on women.
And committing suicide.
So in the same way, we'll say, look, these women are projecting and they hurt. Some of these guys are hurt. And how these women react, society seems to be okay somehow with keeping the kids and whatever. But they get angry when a man gets violent and whatever. This is not, well, why didn't he just hold the kids? You can't prescribe how people react.
Yeah.
Because the next woman, Flaba's partner, stabs him to death.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. And it's not right. But we all need to heal.
Yeah.
Because people are hurt in various ways and they're bleeding. And if nothing else, if my story just shows the dysfunction in society, then at least
I
that.
agree with you.
To say, there's a guy swearing at women, Pela, you bitches, what? You're like, okay, we've got a problem there. Because reading this guy, I can only imagine his circle and the poison that he's at. This woman saying, when I Penuel, I hope you never see your kids. It's like, okay, we've got a problem here. And this woman is probably a mother. And how is she, what is her relationship like with her? We've got problems here that we need to fix. Penuel tomorrow starts seeing his kids, the baby mamas heal, say, but did you see all the people in the comments?
Yeah.
There's problems here. And when men lay hands on a woman, when men kill women, Abospusis or Lawrence, men must stop hurting us. Like, hey, I hear you, you're 100% correct, but we can't just see Kele Pezul. Mothers must stop keeping fathers from their kids. Tell us, Kele Pezul. Can we go to the core of what's wrong? Uncommunicated expectations. This guy hurt her physically or otherwise.
Yeah.
She wasn't raised correctly. Uma wake is telling her, Tina, asizenzi lezi zinto, angishadanga. Ingane angeke ayibone, le ingane ezethu. There's deeper things now we're dealing with here. Gogo. Our problem. And we're not having those deeper chats. Because again, the mothers of my kids could be healed. They might be like, I'd love for my kids to see the fathers. But if ever I let these kids go to the father, my family will disown me.
Yeah.
And I don't think this guy's going to take me on. My first issue with the mother with two kids, which ended up resolving itself.
Okay.
Because the child was living with Tukoko. I was living here, the mom was living here. She was like, I don't want to fight with my mom. Because if I let you raise this child, we're not married. My mom
Yeah.
is going to look at me and be like, what are you doing?
Ngixabanisa
So
noma-
to keep peace, at some point she was like, talk to my mom. I'm not involved. I was like, but this child is ours though.
Yeah.
But luckily that resolved itself
Yeah.
up until the
And
situation
inhlanhla
now.
futhi leyo, yeah.
Yeah, so it's deep, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to keep having these chats because
Okay.
not just my story, not just my children, because what you're saying, the sins of the fathers, my kids hopefully will watch my story and be like, these are all the mistakes my father made, my mother made. I'm going to avoid them. Thank you to him for making so many mistakes that I can avoid
Yeah.
at the very least.
Yeah.
And then for everyone else.
Footprints. Inkosi ikubusise Bhuti. I know we haven't touched on the spirituals, but I wish you, and by saying that, ngikufisela all the good energies,
Thank
beautiful aura, and into what my great grandfather says to me and said to me, and I'll always keep it, is whenever uhlangana ne obstacle, may it be resolved. Because of the work you do, because of the people you've touched, because of the lives you've changed, and because of inhliziyo yakho. Into nento engazuthi intaba ayinciphi vele ihambe. Konke kuhambe kahle.
Thank you. I just
wish
want to
that
say
for
this all on the child thing because it's a very important thing that everyone raises.
Yeah.
In my choosing to not send money to the mothers,
Yeah.
number one, both mothers have lied about my contributions. I've got
Yeah.
bank statements, so at any given time, if they go to maintenance
Yeah.
court, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I didn't say I will stop maintaining my kids.
Yeah.
It's basic. Not that I didn't say it. Sorry, I didn't mean I will stop maintaining my
Yeah.
kids. I meant I will stop sending money to the mothers.
Yes.
But at any given time, abalethi ingane, we can go back to school shopping. I'm not saying I don't want to provide for them. I want to provide for my kids and I want to be a father.
Yeah.
And if anyone is
present.
denying these kids money, love, I'm saying I'm now putting the ball in the mom's court. If ingane needs, ubabake said, ready.
Nkhona.
I can even come to where you are, go shopping with the kids. But if you're gonna be like, I'm still holding the child, got a tumeli mali, that's what I'm fighting.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that and we need to have a conversation. I'm not saying I must be an example.
That's why I'm gonna help you find the trust, because you're gonna put yonke contribution on mama
We'll
in
speak
that
about it. The second thing is we need to amend.
in the trust.
This is a very deep one and we won't have
Yeah.
time for it. We need to amend the Children's Act that says in the best interest of the children.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad you raised that thing, that even if it pains you, because I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe we need to speak about in the best interest of the family. That's a very deep one. It's very tricky.
Does law
But-
support the family structure? Does it even recognize it? The only acts that recognize the family structure are divorce.
Forget the structure.
Yeah, boss.
I'm just saying it can't be that the child is happy, but
Yeah.
mom is bleeding.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in the best interest of the child.
Okay.
So we need a deeper conversation on, yes, the child must be prioritized,
Yeah.
especially because they are minor. But it can't be that the child is happy, but mom is bleeding. Dad is also laughing. Go to mama's dying inside because we're creating another problem
Yeah.
now in future.
Yeah.
But
That's not something the
Conversation
law
for
can
another
fix,
day.
Penuel.